Okay, so today I'm going to be talking to you about foodborne illnesses. This is a presentation by Jen Jacovino, Ellen Stansfield, and Haley Kasha. Salmonella, the shape of the bacteria, is a rod-shaped figure. This can also be referred to as bacillus. History about bacteria. It was originally discovered by Dr. Salmon, and the disease has been around for about 125 years. The CDC estimates that approximately 1.2 million illnesses and approximately 450 deaths occur due to non-typhoidal salmonella annually in the United States. Salmonella was first discovered in hogs that succumbed to the disease known as hog cholera, which I find to be very interesting because salmonella we now relate to chickens. However, it was first discovered in hogs. Additionally, the elderly, infants, and those with impaired immune systems are more likely to have a severe illness. How to obtain the virus of Salmonella? Salmonella bacteria live in the intestines of humans and animals. Salmonella infection occurs from the consumption of raw meats, eggs, contaminated dairy foods such as unpasteurized raw milk, or fruits and vegetables contaminated by the food handlers. The effects of Salmonella. This can include fever, abdominal pain, and it affects people usually between 12 and 72 hours after the infection, meaning the bacteria is already in your body, however you do not see the symptoms of Salmonella between 12 and 72 hours once it's inside of you. It lasts between 4 to 7 days usually once you do actually contract the infection, and the Salmonella infection may spread from the intestines to the bloodstream and then to other body sites. Salmonella can also cause death unless if the person is promptly treated with antibiotics properly. What can carry Salmonella? Salmonella can be carried through raw and undercooked eggs and meat, poultry, fruits and vegetables, unpasteurized milk and juice, cheese, contaminated water as well. How to prevent Salmonella? You can prevent Salmonella by avoiding eating raw and lightly cooked eggs, lightly cooked ground beef, poultry, and unpasteurized milk. Avoid cross-contamination of dishes that may have touched raw meats. So, for example, use different cutting boards for different types of food. So if you're using raw chicken, maybe you wash the cutting board before you put your lettuce or your vegetables on there. Wash your hands, cook your meat thoroughly to completely kill off the bacteria, keep food properly refrigerated before cooking, and wash your hands after touching animals, their food, their treats, or their living environment. For example, when you go to a petting zoo or something of that particular sort. Now I'm going to talk to you about E. coli. This is also known as Escherichia coli, and the bacteria shape is bacillus, which is again a rod-shaped. History about E. coli. E. coli was first discovered in the human colon, and it was discovered in 1885 by Theodore Escherichia. And more than 700 serotypes of E. coli have been identified. However, most of the E. coli bacteria do not affect humans. It is originally called Bacterium coli, but it was later changed to Escherichia coli in honor of its discoverer. How to obtain the E. coli bacteria. You can get E. coli infection by coming into contact with feces of humans and animals. This can also happen when you drink or water or eat food that has been contaminated by feces. And bacteria can also spread from one person to another, usually when an infected person does not wash his or her hands after using the restroom. And E. coli can spread from an infected person's hands to other people or to objects. The effects of E. coli. This usually lasts up to 6 to 8 days in most patients, and at most it'll last up to 10 days. You can get abdominal cramping and tenderness, nausea and vomiting, diarrhea, fever, and the symptoms that are so severe can include bloody urine and decreased urine output, pale skin, bruising, and dehydration. What can carry E. coli? E. coli could be found in undercooked ground beef, unpasteurized milk and fruit juice, soft cheeses made from raw milk, vegetables washed in contaminated water or grown in manure, contaminated water including drinking untreated water and swimming in contaminated water, animals and their environment, particularly cows, sheep, and goats. If you do not wash your hands carefully after touching these animals in these environments, you could get an E. coli infection. How to prevent E. coli. You should wash your utensils and hands to prevent cross-contamination. You should keep raw foods separate from other foods, for example, cut foods on different cutting boards. Wash fruits and vegetables thoroughly before eating. Thoroughly cook your meats. Defrost meats on the fridge or microwave, not on the counter. This is because if you defrost your meat on the counter, it's more likely that the E. coli bacteria will stay on your counter instead of going onto the microwave or the fridge, which is more likely for you to touch them, the bacteria on the counter, where it could just spread very rapidly. You could sanitize any surface that has come in contact with raw foods, avoid drinking and even playing in any non-chlorinated water. Wear disposable gloves when changing the diapers of any child with any type of diarrhea, and do not let any family members touch or pet farm animals, especially like right after. Just make sure you wash your hands.